ARK Survival Evolved in 100 days, but I have to solo kill every boss on the island map at the hardest difficulty, Alpha. This is not being done in single player mode. This is a constant running server, so the bosses are harder and it mimics the difficulty levels of official ARK servers. I didn't count the in-game days where I wasn't actually online playing, so the server days may differ. My settings were 3 times experience in harvesting, with taming at 6 times and breeding a lot higher. Breeding is only an AFK time sink, not actually playing the game. But that's my opinion. I also have this full playthrough as a series on my channel if you want to see more of what happened at each stage. It had taken me over 2 months, playing a few hours most days. ARK Survival Evolved, 100 days to solo all alpha bosses on the island map. Enjoy! Day 1 started as every day one does. We picked some stones on the beach, shortly followed by picking bushes next to the beach. And then, in typical ARK fashion, we had to punch a tree. With all the sticks and stones collected, we crafted our first pick and had a little look at the engrams, what we needed to unlock. And then it was off to farm our first rock and get our first bit of flint. We then unlocked our first building parts so we could place them here on the beach and progress a little bit faster. Knowing I wasn't going to stay on this beach very long, I didn't really want to make too much stuff. So we got the very first foundation placed and it turned into this little 2x2 thatch mansion. The Pteranodon had landed right next to base and it wasn't a very high level, so this was going to be a quick tame and something that could get us in the sky and ultimately to our main base location. So we needed to find the engrams, get them unlocked so we could knock this guy out and make him ours. But it wouldn't be ARK without a Dialo ambush. It was time to get that Pteranodon sorted out. We bowled him, we smacked him in the head with a club, and he had no other option. He was ours whether he liked it or not. The first white drop came down, and I was very, very happy to see it. This could have all sorts of stuff in it what would be perfect for my scrubby little levels. And it was pretty pointless. The Pteranodon was tamed, and it was time to go back to the base to get some forges sorted. Forges were up, metals smelting. We made a metal pick so we could hit the river rocks to get even more metal to smelt. And this would be used for certain things like crossbows and pikes at this early stage. And the crossbow would be used for ultimately taming a little berry gatherer. Look at this trike, glorious. Eat them me joes. And we panicked our way into the first night, which we actually spent just farming out a load of berries because there was nothing else to do while it was dark. Day 2 would start with the sun rising and the desperate need for hide. We needed to make a saddle for the Pteranodon to have any use out of it at all. So it was dodos. Death to the dodos. With the saddle for the Pteranodon made, the one thing on my mind at this point was using it to just head over the way and get some crystal so we could actually make spyglass, because ARK Survival Evolved without spyglass is not nice. Knowing this map like the back of my hand, we instantly found the crystal. After bobbing around on the beach to a glorious level 51, we unlocked cryopods so we could cryo our tames and take the trike with us wherever we went. Saves taming another trike when we get there, hey? The plan was to build a spot across the map at 4268. This spot was out of the way, had good resources, kinda central map. It'd be perfect for this playthrough. We got there towards the end of day 2, the sun was setting and it was a perfect time to just sit back and start crafting out some base stuff and get ready for the following day. With day 3 upon us, it was time to build an RG trap, courtesy of Captain Fat Dog, go check it out, as an RG at this stage is a game changer. The ARK gods were on our side, a 150, this close to base, it had to be. Into the trap it went with no hassle at all. I knew at this stage we were going to be alright. This was a solid start, probably one of my best starts. Now it was time to just get knocked out, fed up and tamed. A dead Carno nearby would give us the prime meat we needed. And the RG tamed up, but not too bad at all. We didn't really care for the stats, we just wanted the bird. And with the extra bit of muscle, we were off to find an Alpha Raptor to kill it for the levels, and maybe even some gear. Unfortunately, not getting a crossbow which we'd dreamed for, we did get levels to pump into weight on the bird. And I spent the rest of the day farming and building. So by day 4, our base was nicely transformed into something a bit roomier, and we had a lot of materials banked to carry on with. We got some water rigged up so we didn't have to keep going downstairs to have a drink out of the river, and we just kept upgrading. But it was getting very tedious doing all this by hand, so we built ourselves a trap so we could tame an Anki and a Dodie and make the dinos do the work for us. I decided I was going to put some gate frames down as well to stop the predators actually getting to the taming traps. Dodie was trapped and Dodie was down. Taking me nicely into the following day, I finally found an Anki worth taming. The ARK gods paying up again. You can't beat it, you just can't beat it. In the trap he went, and then I spotted a very high level T-Rex just up the hill from the base. We had to lead this home and tame this too. If he had good stats, it would definitely give us a massive head start. Dodie had tamed up perfectly by the end of day 5, and we put him to work. It was so good to finally not do it by hand. And then on the morning of day 6, it was off to go get oil. And a sheep on the way home. Get in. My trap. With all this extra mutton, I thought I may as well cook it up because it will last longer and we can tame one of my favourite things. Or have to kill loads because they were all low level. Until we found this guy. This trap was really making everything a lot easier. With all the taming going on, it was time to make a fabricator to progress into electrical things. After taking the filer for a spin, there was only one thing on my mind. It's haircut time. Day 7 had rolled in, and with it, it was finally time to get an important tame. An otter. This tame would mean we could carry more than one artifact when we did the caves. And we had a lot of caves to get through. It was time to upgrade my preserving bin to a fridge, as I was far too lazy to keep putting spark powder in there. This would make stuff last a lot longer. And to finish off day 7, we decided to go for our first cave and first artifact on the run. And it was a very simple cave, but we had a filer, so why not use it? And he chomped through that cave like there was no tomorrow. The artifact of the hunter was mine. 2 days had passed as we were setting up a greenhouse and toilet, and I feel like it was a lot of time wasted, but hey, it was time to get megatheriums, and the good levels just kept rolling in. We needed these for the brood mother, as they get the bug buff and they make the fight easy. With a couple trapped and knocked out, ended up being a mating pair, we were on our way to breeding. But obviously another Rex spawned in near our base, so we had to drop what we were doing and tame it. And I'm really glad I did. 9k health, that's okay to do the monkey boss. The day had come to do another cave, but this time I thought, hey, I'll do it naked. So we went to the lava cave, tried it naked, quite a few times, probably about 10 times. And then eventually, after dying loads, we gave up and got the filer out. And obviously got the job done with ease. So we ended up bagging 2 artifacts of the massive. On day 12 I got myself a beaver pet. I was fed up with hitting trees with a hatchet. And finally a better pteranodon. Followed by another RG, which I wanted to level up just in melee. So we had a better fighter. And we closed day 12 out with going to get another artifact. And this time it was the artifact of the clever. On day 13 we'd finally find another filer. We needed a breeding pair of filers because some of the later caves were too much if we didn't have the imprint bonus. It felt so good to finally find this one. And breeding would ultimately start. We had filers, the megatheriums, and we had the rexes. With breeding well underway, we had a lot of time around the base to build an indie forge. And then the babies started popping. And we ended up actually getting twins. With now having disposable megatheriums, it was time to get some scuba made and head to the swamp cave. We would run this cave so many times on this playthrough. This is one of the best places to go to get blueprints for saddles, for the dinosaurs, for your boss runs. And of course, while we were in here, we needed to pick up the artifact. The immune was ours. 5 days had passed, bringing us to day 19. It was off to another cave, Carno Cave. And with a fully imprinted filer, we would make short work of this one, bagging us the artifact of the Devourer. Hours and days were starting to pass a lot faster now, as we had to rely on breeding and progressing a lot slower. All we needed to do was get the tames ready for the boss runs. That was the most important task. Well, other than obviously running the swamp cave for loot and getting nothing constantly, which ended up being an ongoing thing this playthrough. But we had plenty to do in between cave runs. On day 30 we had to start doing the one thing I didn't really want to do on the playthrough, but we didn't have a choice, no one likes it. We had to go underwater and tame stuff. We did actually tame a 150 Mosa, which was really good, but would ultimately end up being a waste of time because Mosas are rubbish. But we did tame a Bazzy that aren't rubbish, so we could run the caves. We grabbed the artifact while we were down here, and this cave would be the one I would run more than any other on this island, because this cave is also really good for BPs, for your tames, and the Bazzy is truly a god of the water world. Day 31 ended with me looking at all the artifacts I'd got, and day 32 started with me using all the materials I'd got. What can I say, this filer saddle's OP, and we need it. With the new filer saddle fully equipped, we'd try it out in this cave. And after nearly a full day cycle, we finally made it to the artifact of the pack. It wasn't that this cave was hard or the dinos were too strong, we just got lost. Like, I forgot where I was going. So with my bad memory in mind, we made a note for the following day of what to do. And when we woke on day 33, we knew exactly what we needed to do. So we just got on with it and tamed a bee, placed the beehive, sorted out some sap taps, and then we made a best friend. Never make a best friend in ARK. You'll lose it, it'll end in tears. The Utyrannus is my favourite tame, and Jenny was going to be her name. Day 35 rolled in, it was cave time. We had to do the first of the 2 ice caves. This was the easy one. We had to do it on foot because you can't fit tames in there, so it made a bit of a change, like shooting spiders and bats and that. It was a better pace, it was a bit of fun, do you know what I mean? But ultimately, we got the artifact of the Skylord. And we even spotted a nice pig on the way home. We needed one of these guys to help heal our tames on the boss runs, so this was perfect. And we finish off day 36, taming a Tuso. And we'd start day 37, losing said Tuso. Yes, to a manta. A manta. While we were underwater, we found an Alpha Tuso, so the Mosa came out. I wanted a fishing rod, but ARK had a different idea. The Tuso had clipped the Mosa through the mesh and deleted it, and then killed me. As Bazzies are probably the slowest tame underwater, it took me a whole day to get here, but we got our fishing rod. And on the way home from the whole scenario, we got a Megatherium BP from a yellow drop. And this was definitely good enough for the boss run. On day 39 I wanted to redeem myself and tame another 2, so it was nice having one. So I went and got another one. And on day 39 we shuffled through cave after cave after cave looking for a good drop, but we didn't find anything. With the first brood mother fight approaching, I needed to make them saddles and I needed a lot of paste, so we tamed this little frog, took him into the bug cave and licked a load of stuff until it gave us cemented paste. Pretty simple. And we walked away with a fair bit. Day 42 was here. We were nearly halfway through and we spotted the first good level ferry. We'd been looking at these since the start and we'd only just seen this good one. Sometimes ARK is a complete joke, especially on the island. But my luck had changed this day with ferries and we actually got a breeding pair. And then it was time. Everyone was ready, we had the Megatheriums, we had the saddles. It was time to kill the brood mother on Gamma. Jenny was with us, what could go wrong? The battle started off pretty solid, everything looked absolutely fine. Jenny was roaring, she was giving them encouragement. I mean, a lot of Megatheriums were actually at the back and not able to attack, but it was fine. It was only Gamma. We had this in the bag. And just like that, the brood mother was dead. We'd unlocked our first tech engrams and it was solid progression, finally. So, why not try beta as well? The beta fight started off exactly the same as the other one, pretty solid. Though we did end up losing tames, and I did think we were going to lose more as well. But the saddles and the megas, well, they pulled through and we defeated the beta brood mother. We put up a little flag and we hung our head before turning in for the night and having a rest. On day 47 I thought I'd take a little bit of a change of pace. We'd take the filer out for a spin, we'd go on a long journey through the redwoods, nothing but me and him and a fishing rod. And we'd just spend some time trying to get that Rex BP out of the fish. Well, it wasn't very good. We didn't get what we wanted. I mean, was it a waste of time? Not really. We got some things what were okay, just not exactly what we wanted. But a couple of days later in the water cave, we did get what we wanted, a Rex saddle. And this was more than strong enough to take us through the Megapithecus fight. We had a lot of work to still do though. And I still had some artifacts I needed to get. So we finished off the day, coming over to Hard Water Cave. The Bazzy was solid. He'd carry us all the way. He's the absolute MVP of the underwater world. It's perfect. And he bagged us the artifact. Just like that, the cunning was ours. After a few days of doing nothing but farming out these Rex saddles and having mind wipe to make sure we got better Rex saddles, we was there. We was ready for the monkey boss. There was just one more thing we had to get. Megalania toxin. Some of the things you need for these bosses on the island are a complete nightmare to get because the creatures you get them from are very rare. But everything had fallen into place, and on day 54 we was ready. We had the pig, we had Jenny, we had a load of Rexes. It was time to take down that monkey. Knowing that this was the easiest boss on this map, I didn't think my Rexes were going to be taking the mick out of it this much. They literally made it look worse than an Alpha Raptor. Like, I'd well over prepped these Rexes for this fight. Even so much so that in this massively cut up video, I don't even have to cut this fight up one bit without having to ramble on behind it or anything to make it last longer. It was literally a 20-second fight, and so was beta. And we had dropped the monkey on Gamma and Beta back to back. We've got a few tech unlocks now, even though we probably wouldn't even need to bother using them. We put up a new flag and hung the monkey's head. And on day 55 we spotted this Alpha Mosa in the easy water cave, and it was a perfect time to start getting some black pearls ready for actually making our tech suit. And for some reason I wanted to come across the map on the filer to pick the pearls up, so wasted a day or two there. A drop came down their base, we had all the black pearls and everything else we needed, so we crafted our replicator. The replicator on vanilla ARK is quite important, as there are certain blueprints that you can't physically craft without having the room you get in a replicator. It was day 57 now, and it was finally time to do the last cave. The hard ice cave is actually a hard cave to do, especially as a solo player. The creatures were very high level, but worse than that, there were Palovias. And if the Palovias knocked you off your tame, when you had all these wolves and things around you, you would die. But we took our time and got to the end, and the artifact of the strong was in the net. As it was the last time, we decided we'd show Jenny what an artifact chamber looked like. She was so excited, bless her. This was the day I found the most ridiculous drop. If only we'd got this early. Look at these saddles. What a joke. They would still come in handy though. Getting ready for the dragon boss, we had to get some Giga hearts. So we had to kill a Giga on a filer because they can't do circles tight enough to actually bite you anyway. And then he got stuck in this rock. Idiot. The dragon boss required a lot more grind, because we also needed veggie cakes. A good few days passed with having to farm the stuff for the saddles and actually breed and level the ferries. The leveling up process of tames is one of the biggest time sinks. Finding saddles is probably the biggest time sink. But all we needed to do was hope we got really good rolls on this saddle VP. And it didn't start good. But it also didn't end too bad. So we had the saddles, we were ready. Totally forgetting we actually needed to get Yeti saddles, we carried on farming for the dragon boss. There is a lot more you need for the dragon boss. And being extra cautious, so making even more veggie cakes. Day 67 was here and the dragon boss was ready to be defeated. We were going for Gamma, we had loads of veggie cakes to heal our ferries, and we had Jenny with us. We were off to an absolutely terrible start with most of the tames going into the lava, so they were getting hurt big time and we would probably lose them. But somehow they just pulled through and soldiered on, and before we knew it, the dragon was down. And in the same fashion as the previous two bosses, we went straight for Beta. This was going to be a bit more of a challenge because the dragon isn't easy. It started off a lot better. We weren't in the lava, mistakes weren't being made, this was good. But the ferries started dying and I started to panic. I wasn't sure we were going to do it. But they pulled through. And the Beta dragon was dead. And his corpse flew a mile. So we popped up a flag and we hung his head. From here on out it was literally prep, grind, repeat. We had to get all 3 alphas done and then we were heading on to the tech cave and the overseer. We had prep for that to do and we had all the prep for the alphas to do. We had all the extra bits and bobs to have to find. It was hard work. But the time had come. We had to start with the monkey. The Megapithecus was definitely going to be the easiest of the 3 alphas. So here we went. The Battle started exactly the same as the other two, not much to write home about. Me and Jenny just hung back. We had the pig to heal in case we needed it. And then I realised how quick its health was going down. Could this actually go nearly as fast as the other two? It didn't look like we were going to struggle either way. And before you know it, our first alpha was defeated. I spent the last part of this day prepping up some megatheriums to get ready for the brood mother. We'd already got the ferries done for the dragon. Now it was time. I had this mad idea. We would do the alpha brood mother and the alpha dragon back to back. So off we went to the obelisk with a dream of just getting the job done. And it was brood mother up first. Have I prepped enough? Were the megatheriums strong enough? Who knew? What felt like within 10 seconds of being there, the megatheriums were already dying left, right and centre. So we rushed in on the pig to start the healing earlier than I hoped we would have had to have healed. This did not look good. We had lost so many tames already and the pig would run out of food. So in between healing and roaring on the duty, we ended up shooting to increase the DPS. But it still wasn't looking good. The pig was out of food, we couldn't heal anymore, so all it was shoot, roar, keep the DPS up, keep it going. And we got the job done. But there was no time to celebrate. Into the dragon arena we go. This was not like the other two dragon bosses we'd done. There was no room for mistake in this one. This dragon would hit so hard and do massive percentage damage to our tames. We had to be careful. With tames dying this early in the fight, I wasn't sure we'd do this one. This was the one fight that I dreaded more than any other fight on the map because of the amount of times it's gone wrong in the past. But we were pushing through. We hadn't lost all of our tames. The dragon was losing health. We were still losing tames, but I was keeping the DPS up and we was keeping the courage buff up as well. It was okay. Until this pack of dimorphs turned up. They stripped me of all my armour, meaning I had to constantly drink my med brews and stay away from them. If they caught me up, they would probably kill me and end this battle, and I would lose all of them tames and all of them saddles, which would put me back at least 10, maybe 15 days. I did not want that to happen. This may throw the whole thing. But the ferries got it done, and the Alpha Dragon was defeated. With all three of the bosses defeated in Gamma, Beta and Alpha, I made a tech suit to celebrate, and it was time to start getting ready for the Overseer. I had heard from someone that you can throw tames out halfway down or near the end of the tech cave, so I decided to put Jenny in my pocket along with some Rexes, so we didn't have as much to walk down the tech cave because it is a nightmare trying to do it. We lined up the ferries, the door was open, and we headed in. We ended up going to use a Rex to clear the cave first, so we could walk our tames through without being interrupted by wilds trying to push them into lava. And we made it down, pretty easily. We were at the last part we needed to clear. The wreck still had good health. We still had plenty of time. Just one more capro to kill and the job was done. Now, turn around and it's time to throw out the tames. It turned out that I couldn't actually use cryopods in here. I ended up walking back up, trying it, every little part of the cave I tried it at, to see if there was anywhere I could throw these tames out, because I kind of needed these tames. But I had no choice. We had to press on with what we had. Every twist and turn in this cave was a complete nightmare and could ruin everything. We did make it all the way to the teleporting pad to go up into space to fight the Overseer, but did we have enough? There was only one way to find out, and that was getting stuck in. I sent the tames in to attack and then ran out of med brews, and it was too cold in here and I was going to die to the temperature of all things. We were dying to temperature. This actually wasn't too much of a bad setback because we did have extra tames at home ready, prepped up to do another run on this, but there was one problem with dying here. We had Jenny in our pocket and she was gone. On day 89 it was time to go again. This time we were doing it for a good reason. We were doing it for Jenny. We had mate boosted Rexes, we had the ferries, we weren't going to make the same mistakes. We had extra fur, we had an otter, we weren't going to die to the cold. We were getting it done. We didn't lose a single tame in the tech cave. It was a perfect pass through all the way to the Overseer. Just as before, we'd head up to the top and we would shoot as the tames would just get stuck in. This many tames were doing so much more damage, and we were taking so much less damage from being cold. We definitely had this one in the bag. We were finally there. The Overseer had a tiny bit of health left. We had to take care of the drones, and the tames took care of the Overseer. And on day 89, we ascended ARK for the first time. The Gamma Overseer was dead. But we still had 2 more to go. Not having tames what was strong enough to actually do beta and alpha, we decided to take a completely different approach at this fight with a lot of shotgun ammo and one of these little birds what would fly us all the way through the tech cave. It was just going to be me and the Overseer, no tames in the fight whatsoever. We'd use this little bird to glide us through the tech cave, and then it'd just be me and a shotgun in a dream. Nothing in this cave had a chance of touching us, and we glided the whole way. We got our fur out, and it was better fur this time than before, and we weren't even a slight bit cold in here this time. 2 days left, and I felt pumped to get this one done. So the strat was very simple. All we need to do is stay in the air. We do need to land every now and then if we do get damaged by drones. They don't really damage you a lot, so you don't need to worry, but if we do take any damage, we just fly across the arena, land somewhere safe, have a couple of med brews and get back in the air. That's all we need to do. And shotgun, shotgun, shotgun. This actually didn't seem as bad as I thought it would. I thought this would take a lot longer and be harder, but it wasn't. It was actually quite relaxing to start with. It did take a long time, yeah, but I was safe. I was safe up here. And then I saw this little lip and thought, wait a minute, can we just land on this? If we could land on this, I wouldn't even have to fly. I could just relax and just sit, just stand up here. It was perfect. We had a perfect little spot to stand on. What could go wrong now? Absolutely nothing could go wrong. The Overseer was down to his last little smidgen of health, and we couldn't be hurt. And there we go. The Beta Overseer destroyed. With 2 days left. Now we just have to do it all again with the Alpha. So we'd need more shotgun ammo, probably more med brews, but that was it. That's all we could do. That's all we could take. We couldn't take Tames because we couldn't get them through the tech cave. The dinos in there were too strong. So this was it. I said goodbye to the two little birds, one from the beta run and one from the alpha run. They'd ultimately just stay here forever, and we'd try and end it. Now it was day 99. We had 2 hours.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it, and I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring. My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 yeah. This is a statement to appreciate all that is vacant. It's just for the taking. If you make up your mind, you can take it. I'm never complacent. I would work in a mansion or basement. Yeah, there's no replacement for persistence. It's a patience. Yeah, in this life, I wanna be soaring, to feel sun inside when it's pouring, and I'll fight till anxiety is foreign. I'm so sick of my mind's extortion. My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, yeah.